Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, please subscribe and press the bell for more notifications. So I'll be taking you guys through the illustration of how to cut a cowl neck dress. Welcome back guys. So I'm going to be showing you guys the illustration on the cowl neck. So I'm going to be needing my ruler, my pattern paper, my fabric, my scissors, my pin, and also my measurement. So I'm going to be dividing my bust circumference divided by 4. I'm going to be dividing everything by 4. Then now I'm going to be taking my shoulder to nipple measurement. That's my bust point, and my bust point is 8.5. So from here I'm going to mark 8.5. So this 8.5 right here, then I'm going to rule it straight. Then after that, I'm going to be taking my shoulder to waist measurement, and my waist measurement is 14. That's my half length is 14. Then I'm going to be ruling that straight. Then after that, I'm going to be taking my hips measurement. So I'm going to be taking it from my waist to my hips measurement, and that's 9.5. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. So you rule this straight. Then my full measurement with my folding allowance is 37. Then I'm going to be measuring 37. So 37. Then after this, I'm going to be dividing my bust circumference by 4. So my bust circumference divided by 4, actually my bust measurement is 30. So divided by 4, that's 7.5. So I'm going to be marking my 7.5 here. And my waist also is 24 divided by 4 is 6 inches. Then my hips is 32 divided by 4, that's 8. Then for my length, that is my skirt, my gown length, I'm going to be dividing it by 4 also. That's 8. But I want you guys to note this, that if you are doing a pencil gown, you will just minus 1, you can use 7. But now I'm not doing a pencil gown. I want a free gown, a little bit free gown, not pencil gown. Then after this, I'm going to be connecting my points together. Then you connect your bust to your waist, to your hips, then to your actual length. I hope you guys can see it. Then I want you to note this as well. If your fabric is stretching, you can just use 1 inches. But if your fabric is not stretching, you are going to use 2 inches. So my fabric is not that stretching, so I'm going to be using 2 inches. Then you mark 2 inches throughout your pattern paper. So I'm marking 2 inches for my same allowance. That's for my same allowance. Then you are going to connect the point together. Then I'm connecting it together. Then after this, I'm going to be taking my shoulder measurement. Then my shoulder measurement is 6.5. So this 6.5. So I'm going to be taking 1 inches down here. I want you to notice, you take the 1 inches down here, and you are going to just rule this straight like this. That's the 1 inches, and you slant it to your neckline. You slant it to your neckline. So you slant it to your neckline. Then after this, you are going to take your armhole measurement. So my armhole measurement is 7 inches. Then this 7 inches, I'm going to rule this. So you can just label your measurements. Now this is my bust point, my waist point, so that you won't mistake it. Then my hips point and my actual length. So now I'm going to rule my armhole, which is 7 inches. I'm ruling it down, then you rule it straight in. So after ruling it, then you are going to label this as your chest line. This is my chest line. And I'm going to be dividing my armhole into 4. That's 7 divided by 4. That's 3.5. Then I'm going to come in by half inches. For my armhole. Then I'm just going to be using my free hand to make this, to be creative with this, and this is just the armhole. You guys don't mind my hand. You can just use your ruler if your hand is not straight. Your cuff ruler, you can use it if your hand is not straight. So this is my armhole. Then after this, I'm going to be taking, actually you can just, this is not actually important, you can just use like measure your neck line, the type of neckline you want here. So I'm going to be using 3 by 3. This is not that important, but you can just do anything you want here. And then I'm going to be using 3 by 3 for my neckline. Then I'm going to cuff this. Then after this, I'm going to be measuring 3 here from this shoulder, from this neckline slant to here. I'm going to be measuring 3 for my shoulder slant. So after measuring my 3 inches, then I'm going to be ruling this straight. And if I do you some mercy, I'm sorry. I have to spend my money, get no worry. So make you wine for me, then after that, I'm going to be cutting it. So I'm done with my, I'm just going to connect this with this. I'm done with my pattern illustration. Then I'm going to be cut. I want you guys to know this. You don't cut from, you come from your shoulder slant. This is my shoulder slant. So I'm going to be cutting from here. Then after this, I'm going to be placing my pattern paper on my fabric. So I'm done cutting my back pattern just like this. So after cut, then I'm going to be cutting my front for this. So I want you guys to know this. I'm just going to be, from my shoulder length, I'm going to be cutting it, but I won't cut it through this place. I'll just, I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to cut it like this. Then I'm not going to cut it and finish. I'm just going to be using, you can actually use your sellotape to tape this so that it won't cut, or you can as well use your pin. So after splitting my shoulder slant for my slash and spread method, then I pinned my pattern. That's the back pattern. I'm using the back pattern for the front pattern after splitting my shoulder length for my slash and spread method. Then I placed my pattern on my fabric for the front bodies. Then I pinned it. Then I want you guys to take note of this. After splitting it, then I'm going to be spreading it for the cowl neck to drop. You understand? And the more you spread it, the more the cow neck drops. Then I'm going to be spreading it by just 8 inches. So 8 inches, I'm going to be spreading it. Then I will pin this down so it won't shift. Then after pinning this down, I'm going to be cutting it. And the more you spread it, the more the length is wider. So I'm done cutting my front bodies. Then the next thing is that I'm going to be cutting a facing and a strap for the hand. Then I actually made a mistake here. I did not slant my neckline, so I'm going to be slanting it by just 2 inches. Yes, 2 inches. Actually, I should have used a chalk, but I don't have a chalk here, so I'm just going to be, since I'm going to be cutting it out. Then this is my back bodies. I hope you remember this. Then I'm going to be cutting this. Don't mind me, let me just use this. So this is the back. Then I'm going to be cutting a facing. This is it. So I'm going to be cutting a facing for the back. Wow, this is coming out so well. That's my back bodies, and my front bodies, I'm done with it. I'm just going to be cutting a facing now. So now I'm going to be cutting the facing for my front bodies. So I want it to cover the nipple and both the shoulder. So I'm going to be using like 14 or 12 inches. You can use 14 or 12, depend on how the length of the person's body. So now I'm just going to be using 10 inches. The person is not that tall, then just going to be using. So now I'm going to be cutting this. Then that's my facing, and I'm going to be sewing it through this side. Then my dress is ready. Then I'm going to as well cut it for the back pattern too. You cut a facing to turn it in for the back pattern too. Then after that, you will just cut your strap for your shoulder. You can just measure like maybe 2 inches or 1.5 inches for your strap. Then you are good to go. So this is it. After cutting my strap, you measure your the length of your strap, then you fold it in, and you are going to be attaching it to your shoulder. So that's all about my cow neck. Do well to subscribe, and if you have any question for me, drop it in the comment section. Thank you.